Andy Brough is Executive Director of Schroder Investment Management and also a BP shareholder. Now, Andy, what do you think actually of the deal? Are you going to buy more stock? Are you going to sell it?
Well, I think, at the end of the day, an oil company has to find oil, okay, because eventually you kind of run out. And if you look at where people are drilling for oil, all the easy places the oil's been found. And people are very excited about Cairn, going to Iceland. There's no evidence that there is any oil in Iceland. There's lots of evidence that, and Greenland, there's lots of evidence that there's lots of oil and gas in Russia, Russia's one of the largest producers. So to actually get into the Russian operations and have a stake and have, potentially 12 to 15 billion barrels of recoverable oil. That's recoverable. That's, there's probably a lot more there. That's just the recoverable bit. So people, when they look at a field, say, well, it might be 1 billion barrels, but we might only be able to recover a third of it. So these are huge numbers.
But is there not a danger, actually, that it will cost so much to extract it and it will be so low that actually practically nothing will be recoverable? Have the tests been so far that you can be sure that they will find something and it will be worthwhile?
The great thing about the oil and gas sector is that it's 2 miles, oil is 2 or 3 miles, 4 miles under the ground, and you can come up with any story you like. There's no evidence that, you can do seismic, etc., and they can come to a rough idea, but until you've drilled it, you can't find it. And, that has always been the problem with the sector. If it was guaranteed, then these stocks would be trading at a much higher price.
We've seen some pretty, can we call it dodgy dealings in Russia, and BP itself has had a tough time in the country. Why go back in? Yeah,
well, I was watching James Bond last night as well, and I thought there were quite a few dodgy Russians on that as well. And at the end of the day, the Russians actually need the expertise of BP and the like to come out and drill in what are very, very hostile areas. And Russia's, if it's going to actually sort of move forward, has to do these sort of deals, get the technology in, and have these partnerships. And OK, I accept that last time Dudley, as Manus said earlier, kind of ran out of Moscow, but he obviously recognises that there are very few places in the world where you can actually get this big a bang for your buck, and Russia's one of them, so you've got to be there. And I think, the sour grapes that's coming out of America is the fact that, the likes of Exxon are going to find it very hard to do the deal that BP's done with Rosneft.
And let's just go back to Manus, because I think we have some more news.
It really just confirms that you've got the 12 to 15 billion barrels. The stock is trading at 156. Andy, do you think there's going to be much objection from the shareholders on the roster, or is that just hubris in the press? Do you think the shareholders will support this?
Yeah,
not that they'll be asked to, it's a fait accompli, but do you think they'll rankle?
I think at the end of the day, as I said, all companies got to go out and find oil, get it to the surface and sell it. And if you can do that at a sensible price and sensible structures and a sensible cost, then that's what shareholders want, actually, out of all companies.
Are you buying more shares?
Well, I don't know yet. I've cycled in.
What are you waiting for?
I've got very wet, and I'm going to wait to get back to the office because, on this sort of thing, you've got to make sure that you've actually read everything because, this is, as I said, it's a historic agreement, and people want to have some actual great feeling that this is a long-term sort of relationship, and it's not just being signed. And we've got the strategy day now coming up for BP in next month, I think, and I'm sure they'll be talking a lot more about their other plans in other areas of the world.
So what you're looking is for no little clause, or in small print saying that they can get out.
You've still got that huge litigation risk, haven't you? The two risks you've got with BP: A, is the oil under the ground, you can't see it, and B, you've still got that litigation risk, and people will actually want to see that litigation risk kind of reduced before they really get back and attribute BP a rating which is still, I don't know, 20% discount to Shell.
But Andy, is it going to hurt actually BP's prospects in the US, because now that they are associated with Russia, certain politicians will take their distance?
Well, yeah, that's always going to be the case. But if you're a BP, if you're an American, and you'd rather see BP being a stronger company, if you're actually going to force it to pay the fines, and actually if they can then get this all out of the ground, you'd say it's a stronger company, it'd be in a stronger position. And it's very easy to stand here and criticise management, but very few people actually get on the front foot, and deals like this happen. Then in 3 years' time, we'll look back and say, God, what an amazing deal.
Yeah, Andy, thank you so much. Andy Brough there.